I am so tired of spending the entire 40 minutes that I have to play games each night just scrolling through the Steam store or scrolling through my Steam library instead of playing all of the amazing, cool games that I own. My Steam library is about 300 games, give or take. It's really, the count is at 360, but there's about 60 things that I don't count as video games in there, whether they be random programs or decommissioned, multiplayer games that don't work anymore. And diving into that massive 300 game library instead of the shiny new thing that I just saw in the Steam store feels so daunting. I actually get like a sense of dread every time that I even open up my Steam library, just because of how many options are presented to me. It also doesn't help that Valve has just made their Steam store so enticing. Like, navigating through the discovery queue is just like, it's a dopamine rush of its own. Real quick, I am gonna interrupt myself real quick to take a look at my wonderful character here. There's a combination in Dark Souls 1 where if you go with the Far East Traveler and the light brown hair, to me it looks like a certain celebrity. I'll let you guys decide, but I've been naming my character this for the past 10 years. No, but seriously, the discovery queue is like a slot machine where winning, quote unquote winning, is where I get to spend money instead of actually getting money, because I spend my $5 or $20 on whatever random game it's spit out at me instead of keeping that money in my pocket. And then, half the time I never even end up playing that game that I just got. But there's just always something so enticing about hitting the next in queue button. Like, there's just a dopamine rush. And even like Steam's UI and their design is just so good. It just feels so smooth to navigate. Nothing like the Epic's game store. More about that later. That fucking place sucks, by the way. And it's not just the discovery queue. Also, the wish list doesn't help. Like, when I see a game that I have on my wish list spike to the top of with an 85% off tag, like, it's just so hard to resist. I mean, how can you not? And it's always games I don't need and probably won't play. Like, no, I do not need a $4 copy of Stubbs the Zombie remastered just because I saw the cover art when I was 8 years old once and thought it looked interesting. But you know what? That $4, it's fucking gone. It's gone. And as much as I'd love to blame Steam's great store design for all of my problems, I can't. I gotta shift a little bit of that blame on me. For one thing, I love to buy games that I know I'm never gonna finish. I grew up playing the Dark Souls games, so I love action RPGs, or just RPGs in general. But I will buy these super lengthy and involved RPGs with tons of optional side content. And yes, those games are great value for your money, but I have such a completionist mindset when I go into them. Like, when there's like a path that you can, like an optional path that you can go down, and then there's the main path, and it's clear that it's the main path, it physically pains me not to go do that optional piece of content first, even if I know doing all the optional shit is gonna prevent me from ever finishing the game. But it doesn't matter. I'm still gonna do every single piece of optional content, and then I end up with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 in my library with 60 hours played. I never even reached the wedding, which is like the first objective in the whole game, and I'm never gonna touch it again. It's just there forever. And constantly doing this, it just ends up leaving so many unfinished titles sitting in my backlog, just staring at me in disappointment. And I always start these games with such like a grandiose vision of how I'm gonna like finish every single side quest, every single little piece of content. Oh no, he's kicking my ass. But it's this infatuation with not missing all the side content. Oh no. Okay, I cannot do this while talking. I'm just gonna shut up until I beat this guy. All right, we gotta lock in a little bit. Okay. All right. There we go. Just one more parry. Oh, I'm about to throw. Come on. All right, he's stuck on like the geometry. Let's get a clean shot, gentlemen. There we go. Sit the fuck down, you condescending fuck. All right. Oh, Jesus Christ. But yeah, I just can't get past this infatuation with finishing every small little piece of side content that a game has to offer. And it is truly hurting my enjoyment of video games, because I know I would get so much more satisfaction from, just playing and completing games instead of having them sit in my Steam library unfinished and moving on to the next thing. And I'm also trying to learn that, some games just truly aren't for me. Like Metro Exodus is a really good example. I think that game's excellent. Like, objectively, the way that it is designed, especially like the UI is so immersive. Oh, let's see if I become another bloodstain. Nope. Can't fucking get me, bitches. But yeah, the UI is excellent. The crafting systems are really good. I enjoy the combat in that game. I don't have any one reason that's keeping me away from finishing that game. And yet somehow I've played the first 10 hours probably about 4 times. And I just can't get past it. I can't do it. It's, even though I really like that game in theory, I just can't ever finish it. It's so strange. Also, none of this includes my 200 games in my Epic Games library, but to me, I don't count those because I've just made it my weekly ritual of claiming the free game that Tim Sweeney gives me. And no, that hasn't at all worked to get me on the Epic Games platform. Not even in the slightest, but that's okay. It feels like Hansel and Gretel, but instead of the house being made of candy, it's made of a bunch of games I'm never gonna play. Part of the problem too with all of my unfinished RPGs is I get bored anywhere from 20 to 40 hours in. Or not get bored. That's the wrong way to put it. I actually really enjoy those games, but I just stop playing 20 to 40 hours in, and it feels like such a chore to pick it back up. Like I'm restarting my progress. Like I picked this game to play during this because this is a game I've played so many times, and especially these opening hours. I've played through these opening hours so many times. I love Dark Souls. I've finished it multiple times. Playing through these opening hours doesn't feel like a chore. It feels like nostalgia for an experience that I've finished and is complete. But to replay through the opening hours of a game that I have only played through the opening hours feels like my time with it before was wasted. And so now I'm just, the next 20 hours of my life have to be dedicated to getting right back where I was. And then there's the dread of maybe not finishing it again and what that means. So all that aside, what does this actually mean? Am I just destined to drown in this endless sea of games that I will forever be stuck in? Maybe. But I also think not necessarily. There's a few things I could definitely do to mitigate that. First off, I think would be this channel. I think this will push me to... One thing that I think will definitely help me a little bit is actually this channel here, because I want to really make this a spot to highlight some lesser known indies that I think deserve the attention, and that will mean definitely changing up my gaming habits a little bit. Something that I've been doing recently that's been helping me quite a bit is dividing my attention. There's 3 games that I want to play for the channel. Clash, Artifacts of Chaos, Death Howl, and Angeline Era. All some pretty cool indie games that seem really interesting. And instead of playing through them all individually, like any normal sane person would, I am actually splitting my time evenly between the 3. Now, this will cause its own problems later when I have 3 finished games and then immediately 3 videos to make, but I think that's definitely preferable to not finishing any of the games at all, and so I'm fine with that. And it's just keeping me from reaching that point of feeling burnt out from one game, because that's what I always do, is I hyper fixate on one singular game, and that means that I never finish it, and that just doesn't feel good. And you know, if that kind of content sounds interesting, if you want to, you know, hit those 2 little buttons down there at the bottom, that would help me out a little bit. But if not, that's cool too. Next thing I can definitely do is clean up my Steam library a little bit. I have so many games in there and just so many things in general that all they do is just clutter everything up. And that's not really helping anybody. Yeah, give me your twinkling titanite, pretty please. Like, just a random example, Ark Survival Evolved. I know I have absolutely zero intention of playing that game ever again. I just have no desire to. I will never boot it up. So there's just there's not any reason to have it cluttering up my Steam page, contributing to that sense of dread I feel when I see all 300 of those titles. Not to mention the 20 other decommissioned games that just don't even work anymore because the servers don't work. And before you say anything, because I know I want to overlay some footage of me cleaning up my Steam library. The porn games are not mine. They were Steam family shared to me. So I don't want to hear the Cotton 4K comments, all right? 0 playtime. You see that? 0 playtime, all right? All right, sorry, gotta lock in real quick. The Taurus Demon is notorious for humbling me despite my copious amount of hours in this game. God, Deprived is just so good. It's so good in Dark Souls 1. This is just such a fucking killer weapon. And lastly, honestly, I think is I just need to make a goddamn decision. I found this quote the other day, and it's actually kind of what inspired me to make this video, but it really stuck out to me. It says, "The risk of a wrong decision is preferable to the terror of indecision." I think that perfectly encapsulates what I'm dealing with right now. I get so caught up trying to optimize my free time into playing the perfect game for that moment. And if I just instead tried to enjoy my time with whatever first came to mind when I came to pick out a game, I'd have just a much better time. Maybe not every night needs to be spent looking for a masterpiece to add to my collection or a new shiny thing, but I can just take what I have and experience it and enjoy it, and that's okay. And sometimes I won't like it, but that's okay too. So appreciate you staying around for the video. If you got this far, comment something really weird that will confuse the fuck out of the algorithm. See ya.